Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. I'm pimping my friends Wesley Gift and Bryce O'Quay's comic Hard Justice. Check out Hard Justice. Anyway, they gave me a really nice hat. This week, do you have a friend? Do you have a best friend? I got two best friends. They're really close, but one of them is my longest relationship. Outside of someone I'm related to, we've been together for over 20 some years. And his name's Chad. If you're familiar with Bonehead Weekly, then you know that Chad is on the Boneheads with me. And Chad is the bald one with glass. Well, the other two Boneheads have glasses. You know, he's the actually, they're both the antisocial. Okay, they have a lot in common except for hair. Chad oftentimes disagrees with me, and I oftentimes disagree with Chad. That's the thing when it's kind of your brother, you just argue a lot. Thing is he suggests movies for me to review on this thing. And sometimes I hate them. And most of the time I don't care for them. But he suggested something I never heard of. Never heard of. In fact, I don't even know how he found about it. This movie came out in 2020. And if you go on Hulu, the movie is on Hulu. If you have the Hulus, if you go on there, you can type in Hunter, and I'll tell you the name in a minute, and it doesn't even bring it up. You have to type it in twice. And finally, you find the movie from 2020, Hunter Hunter. It's kind of a horror film, more of a thriller. I usually hate that word, but it is more of a thriller. And it's written and directed by a guy named Shawn Linden. Shawn Linden was an art director and production designer on several other films, and he has two or three films, low budget films to his credit. Quite frankly, I'd never seen of him, never heard of him. And this movie stars Devon Sawa. Devon Sawa was huge in the early 2000s. Not a huge fan of him. And it has Nick Stahl, another actor in it who was huge 20 years ago. Not a huge fan, but I love both of them in this. The only person who is better than both of them in this is Camille Sullivan, who plays the mom, who is fantastic. This movie is called Hunter Hunter. And I know I say this a lot, but I don't want to tell you too much because I want you to go into it blind. It's not Hunter times Hunter, which is some sort of anime. This movie's just called Hunter Hunter, okay? Basically what it is this mom and dad, really patient wife, live out in the woods. They live off the grid and they trap furs. The husband traps animals for furs and they trade them in to get food for them and their daughter, who's kind of a tween. She's, 12, 11, 13, somewhere right around there. And they're living off the land in the deep woods. They don't really have any contact with anybody. One of the park rangers is driving an 85 Chevy. There's kind of throwouts to what time period this is. The director has said on record that 50% of this movie is fantasy and 50% of this movie is truth. I have a hard time believing that 50% of it's truth, but maybe it is. The fur business isn't doing as well. She'd like to move into the city, which is basically a small town, buy a house. He doesn't want to. They have a wolf outside that they're all scared of, and the wolf is back, and the wolf is kind of trying to track them, and they've got to take care of the wolf. There's a stranger that shows up hurt. And that's all I'm going to tell you. I hate using the word slow build because it sounds negative. This is a slow build as in it is a character study, okay? These actors are doing the best that they can. This movie is so well acted. The only complaints I have about it is that it is low budget, but that's not a complaint. The budget with the music and a few other things, especially at the end, it hinders it somewhat, but not much actually. It works really well, and the performances just raise it up. And the director does a great job, and the writing's good. The other complaint is, and you'll see this towards the end of it, the metaphors, they're going to leave bruises on your head. They hit so hard. But past that, past the metaphors and past all that, this is a lovely little thriller, and it is quite horrific in the last 10 minutes. And the last 5 or 6 are kind of a gut punch. And there's a shot with the skinning at the end. There's not a lot of blood in this movie. So if you're looking for blood and guts, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're looking for a 90-minute film that you've never even heard of, trying to do a deep dive of a thriller of what are they going to do? How are they going to get out of this situation? Then definitely check out Hunter Hunter on Hulu. The acting is fantastic in it. Seriously, the writing and directing is good. It's beautifully shot. Camille Sullivan. Whoa, never heard of her, but I am now going to do a deep dive on her career. She's a Canadian actress. I just loved this movie. I really liked it. It's been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Check out Hunter Hunter on Hulu.